Wilton Norman Chamberlain. He was one of the all-time greats in basketball. He was a giant in every sense of the word. I mean, he dominated the game of NBA basketball.
Wilton Norman Chamberlain was born August 21st, 1936 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. While playing basketball in high school, he towered over the opposition, scoring more than 2,200 points in his 3 years and leading his team to 2 All-City championships.
Wilt in high school was just simply an unstoppable force. I mean, it was the old cliche, a man against boys. If he wanted to go out and get 90, 95 points a game, he did.
In 1956, with hundreds of college scouts clamoring to recruit him, Chamberlain chose to attend the University of Kansas, where in his varsity debut, he set a school record, scoring 52 points. He would go on to lead his team to the NCAA Finals.
College ball was tough for Wilt Chamberlain because teams would devise entire defenses to stop him, 2 and 3 and 4 guys around him. They would do anything in their power to not let Wilt get the ball because that was the only way they were going to be able to win.
After 2 years of college ball, Chamberlain spent 1 year traveling the world with the Harlem Globetrotters before going to play with the Philadelphia Warriors in the NBA.
Wilt's impact on the game was enormous everywhere he was. He scored so easily that what he did was taken for granted. All the rules were changed because of him.
The most interesting thing I think about the rule changes with Wilt, he used to start his free throws at the back of the key, and he would take off and dunk. And because his feet never touched the floor between the free throw line and the basket, they allowed it. And finally, everybody got up in arms and said, well, this is ridiculous. And they stopped it. Now all of a sudden you had to be stationary behind the free throw line, and it turned out he was one of the worst free throw shooters in the history of the game.
Over the next 15 years, Chamberlain would play for the Warriors, the 76ers, and the Lakers, and set many records which still stand today. In 1962, he averaged 50.4 points and 25.7 rebounds per game.
The most amazing record he set was the 100 points against the Knicks in 1962, and that's a record you're never going to see broken.
He was just a mountain of a man. I'll never forget meeting him and having to hold the microphone like this to interview him. You know, he was just a dominant physical and emotional presence.
Chamberlain won Rookie of the Year, 2 NBA championships, 4 MVP awards, and was an All-Star 13 times. Despite the records and accolades, Chamberlain seemingly always lost to his arch-nemesis, Bill Russell of the Boston Celtics.
Wilt and Russell was the NBA rivalry. And I think the reason why Wilt didn't get the great respect that he should have gotten was because Russell kept winning championships. But he was surrounded by so many better players.
Chamberlain retired from the NBA in 1973 and was voted into the Basketball Hall of Fame in 1978. Off the court, he was an entrepreneur, investing in nightclubs and horse breeding. He was also a TV pitchman, and in 1984, he tried acting, appearing in the film Conan the Destroyer.
Wilt was a character. He had a place he built that was like the mini Playboy mansion. He wrote books, he acted. He may have been one of the really first personalities that the NBA has ever seen, and he was bigger than life in everything he did.
Chamberlain was a lifelong bachelor. In his 1991 biography, A View from Above, he claimed to have slept with nearly 20,000 women.
I remember asking him about all the women, and he laughed it off. It would have been mathematically impossible for him to be still standing after having sex with 20,000 women over that short period of time. Hey, it was a great way to sell books, and it certainly added to the Wilt mythology.
In 1999, Wilt Chamberlain was found dead in his Bel Air home, having passed away from heart failure.
I really don't think anybody has had an impact on the game the way that Wilt Chamberlain has, especially among the big players. I mean, this guy, so strong, so good, so unstoppable. You can talk about Kareem and Shaq and some of the players that came after him, different type players completely. I don't think there's been anybody even close to what Wilt Chamberlain was.